President Trump is reportedly considering a wave of preemptive pardons. Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of precedent it sets and how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons. Nor are you going to see in our administration the approach to making policy by tweets. It's just going to be a totally different way in which we approach the justice system.
The only reason I know to ask for a pardon is because you think you've committed a crime.
I only know of one reason to seek a pardon, because you're worried that you're guilty, that you committed a crime.
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, I think that it's an effort not only to prospectively pardon people for things they have not yet been charged with and may never be charged with, but also it's the president's own family. It's people that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family. This is the nature of those the president has surrounded himself with, including his family. And that is, it's been essentially a den of thieves environment. And so I think the president views this as his way of trying to protect those that have protected him.
The president seems intent on filling each of his remaining days in office with petulance, grievance, self-interest. The president's reportedly asking his staff about whether he can whether he can issue. President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr. President, that would be a gross abuse of the presidential pardon authority.
A few years later.
It's a Fox News alert. President Biden, this just came across, just issues new pardons for Dr. Anthony Fauci. You could call these preemptive pardons. Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired four-star General Mark Milley. This just happened moments ago. It also includes the members of Congress and staff who served on the Select Committee and the U.S. Capitol, and D.C. Metropolitan Police officers who testified before the Select Committee. This as Trump prepares to take the oath of office in just a few hours.
Would that include Liz Cheney?
So
what a mess.
No, it doesn't. I guess,
Committee?
Yeah, Select Committee.
The whole select.
But what does it say? Mark Milley, who is chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under both Biden and Trump, you know that 100%. What he's done in the past. You know that he was calling China, trying to putting down President Trump.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, first of all, happy holidays to you guys, whatever you're celebrating, whether it be Inauguration Day or MLK Day. Happy holidays to you. But we got some serious and crazy news to get into here, where you have Joe Biden, who has come out last minute before the inauguration and pardoned not only Dr. Fauci, Liz Cheney, Adam Kissinger, and the whole January 6th committee, also his family members as well. So we're going to get into this article here. But before we do, let's get into this quick little segment from CNN where they're actually disappointed about the news that just came out. Let's get into it.
MJ, you've been covering this White House for some time. Your thoughts on seeing this?
Yeah, I think we do need to take a real beat to talk about the news that we got from former President Joe Biden just moments after he had stepped into the Capitol Rotunda. It was actually 11:38 exactly that this announcement hit my inbox. An extraordinary and unprecedented announcement to preemptively pardon multiple members of his family. We are talking about Biden's siblings and their respective spouses being offered preemptive pardons. The timing just could not have been more remarkable, given that it came just moments after President Biden had ridden in the motorcade with President Trump. They had shared pleasantries inside the White House over tea. And now we had this announcement from the former president, again, Joe Biden, saying he worried about how his own family members would be targeted by Donald Trump. And I am told by a source familiar with his thinking that this was in no small part driven by Donald Trump's public promise to appoint a special prosecutor to go after every member of the Biden family, that this was something that was incredibly worrisome to Joe Biden, that's something that really haunted him as he thought about the prospects of his life after office. And if you look at the extraordinary written statement that we got from President Biden, it kind of gets at that sentiment. He said, even when individuals have done nothing wrong and will ultimately be exonerated, the mere fact of being investigated or prosecuted can irreparably damage their reputations and finances. Anderson, as we watch President Biden take off, now that he is no longer the sitting president, I mean, we have been talking about all of the different ways in which he himself ended up tarnishing his own reputation in these final days in office, including reneging on his word to be a bridge candidate by seeking a second term, the decision to pardon his son Hunter after repeatedly saying he wouldn't. And then with this, the preemptive pardoning of multiple members of his family, it was back in December of 2020 that he told our colleague Jake Tapper regarding reports of Donald Trump at the time potentially preemptively pardoning his own children. He said, in terms of the pardons, you are not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons. It's just going to be totally different, the way in which we approach the justice system. Well, as it turns out, Anderson, there was another promise broken. That is exactly how he has ultimately decided to approach the justice system. And this is a decision that is going to raise so many alarming questions about the legal precedent that this now sets, and will have been really one of the very final acts for President Biden as a sitting president. And here he is now flying off. We know that he is going to be going on vacation with the former First Lady in California, where, of course, some of his family members reside. Anderson?
Alyssa, it was remarkable. There were pardons earlier this morning for General Mark Milley and others. These last-minute pardons were clearly timed. I mean, they were signed before, but timed to be released after the car ride once the final inauguration was beginning.
Yeah, it very much felt like a news dump of pardons. There was no way there was going to be good coverage around this. And while I think many people could argue why Milley, Fauci, and others should be inoculated with these pardons and not prosecuted for doing what they did as government officials, this is much, much muddier. And the right has argued for years that there are foreign dealings, there are ways in which the Biden family has profited that should be looked into. And this just underscores what so many in this country believe. And Joe Biden sang a very different tune to Jake Tapper and to others about how he wouldn't do this. And it feeds into this notion, the same party that runs on upholding democratic norms, Joe Biden in many ways undercut them in the end. And I think that puts Donald Trump in a stronger position of power. But one thing I was really struck by watching this is the mainstreaming of Donald Trump. Of course, he was a president before, but you can't dismiss him as an anomaly anymore. He is as much part of the fabric of American history as Barack Obama, George Bush. And you saw it from the tech titans there to the A-list celebrities like Carrie Underwood to, the CEO of a fashion conglomerate. This is a very different Donald Trump presidency than the first time he was in office.
If you're going to do these things, I was covering the Clinton White House when at the very last minute when the then soon-to-be former President Clinton was on his way to the Capitol when they pardoned this billionaire, Mark Rich, who was a fugitive and had violated all sorts of sanctions against Iran and other countries around the world. It's just unseemly. If you're going to do it, have the courage to do it in the light of day and explain it to the American people. It's a stain on his legacy to do it like this. We can have an argument about, is it necessary? Has Donald Trump promised retribution? Yes, he has. But if you're the President of the United States who said that the curse of Donald Trump was that he didn't respect democracy and didn't respect norms, have the courage to look the American people in the eye and explain what you're doing.
Yeah, the way it was done suggests that there was something wrong with doing it. Yeah. He tried to slip it in in the final minutes,
Really?
Kenny, the escalating rhetoric from Trump, though. I mean, he says in the pardon statement, he said, this acceptance should not be misconstrued as an admission of guilt.
No, I know what he said. I mean, he said that. Yeah, I know what he said. But the fact is that Trump has been saying this for a long time. That doesn't explain why in the last 10 minutes of your presidency you
in the spouses
slip
names,
a
I've
release
never heard
out
come
there.
out of Donald Trump.
It just made the whole thing look tawdry.
Yep, that is 100% right. That is 100% right. Why are his kids and also the spouses and an extension of the family getting pardoned as well? Well, is it because they also profited from the Biden name? Did they also take some money? Is that how they also built their wealth? That is a question that everybody is going to have forever at this point. But now let's get into a little segment here from the Morning Joe about this news.
All right, Caddy, we have breaking news right now. Joe Biden has just, according to Jonathan Mir, has just issued a series of pardons of significant.
Just now, a statement from the President of the United States, Joe Biden, talking about the defense of need to defend public servants. And he's offering pardons. He is pardoning now. I'll just read from it. I'm exercising my authority under the Constitution to pardon General Mark A. Milley, Dr. Anthony S. Fauci, the members of Congress and staff who served on the January 6th Select Committee, and U.S. Capitol and D.C. Metropolitan Police officers who testified before the Select Committee. He goes on to say the issuance of these pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt for any offense. And just backing up a moment, we have known for months now speculation that there would be these preemptive pardons issued by the White House. There were some people wanted them, others did not. But a remarkable, historic moment here in just his final hours of the presidency, issuing pardons for those who very much were targeted by Donald Trump and his allies for potential for prosecution and retribution.
I think what's significant about these particular names, Willie, especially for the January 6th committee, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, and of course all the Democrats on the committee, is that the incoming president in his interview on Meet the Press several weeks ago after being elected, because there is, it's one thing to be saying it in the heat of a campaign, but after being elected, saying that the people serving on the January 6th committee should go to jail, that obviously probably made Joe Biden more ready for those pardons. Of course, Mark Milley, he said what he said about Mark Milley. Same with Fauci and the U.S. Capitol Police.
These are being offered.
They're being offered. So they're being offered.
That's correct.
So they have to
Right
accept
now.
those.
They have to accept them. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the limousine ride just got more interesting.
Yes,
the
it
one
did.
We've been talking about
that's going to be
when
something.
President Biden and the president-elect ride over from the White House to the Capitol. The president ends the statement by saying the issuance of these pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt for any offense. That was part of the reason some of these people, and we'll see if they accept these pardons, had said, I don't want a pardon. Because by accepting it, it implies that I've done something wrong, and I haven't. So it'll be interesting to see now they've been offered. There are 4.5 hours left in President Biden's presidency. Claire, it'll be interesting to see if they take them.
And
it makes me sad.
Yeah.
It makes me sad. First of all, it sets a precedent. Can you imagine the list 4 years from now? Not good. And frankly, it shows that we have gotten to the point that we no longer trust the institutions of our courts to fairly administer the laws. Because I think the people who say I don't want a pardon are saying that because they know factually there is no evidence to do anything to them. So I get it, and I'm not being critical of the president for doing it, but it's sad. It is very, very sad, and it's another blow to the institution of rule of law in this country.
Claire, I have a question. Maybe you can answer it. I don't know. Maybe someone else here can answer it. Do these pardons offered this morning, do they time out with the demise of the Biden presidency?
No.
They don't?
No.
Okay.
Let's go.
Look at his face. He is shocked. No, they don't. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's why I played the clip that I played in the beginning of this video, is to show you guys the words from the Democrats themselves. So they believe that if they accept these pardons, it is an admission of guilt. If you didn't commit a crime, why would you accept these pardons, right? And it will also make these Democrats look hypocritical because they've been crying and screaming about how the Justice Department is not corrupt and they believe in the rule of law. All of these, blase, all these things that they've said. But now all of a sudden, well, you don't believe in the justice system. Oh, you don't believe in the rule of law. Who's going to believe these people anymore? Who's going to trust these people anymore? They are not credible. And that's why the mainstream media is acting the way that they're acting, because this is just proof that what MAGA, the right, and conservatives and Republicans and Trump has been saying for the longest is that the Biden crime family is corrupt. They've built their wealth off of corruption. And this is proof. This is proof. I don't care what you say. Let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Hit the like button down below. And if you are brand new, consider hitting subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.